Hey guys, wanted to make a video of my fixed blade knife collection. So let's just go through the list from smallest to largest. This one is Becker Necker, made by Ka-Bar. This next one is a Ontario Rat 3 SE4. This is the Ontario Afghan Bush knife. And you can see that I have two of those. One of those is just kind of a standard canvas micarta, and one of those has the orange G10. I'll probably take the orange G10 backpacking with me, and I know it's kind of a heavy blade to take backpacking, but I like the idea, I like the comfort of knowing that I have a large blade with me in case I, for whatever reason, ever need it to process wood or, heaven forbid, self-defense of some sort. This is the sheath for that. This one, you can see that I've replaced the Velcro with a snap. I hate Velcro on my gear. If it's hard use gear, I just can't rely on it personally. And I've made a sling for that one, and that sling will come off and go on just about any knife I've got if I wanted to carry it on a sling as opposed to on my belt. This one is an Ontario Gen 2 SP46, and you may see that I have a common thread here. I love the Ontario knives. I think that they have, as far as budget and value, I think that they're really at the top of the game. This is a Kydex sheath that I made for that knife. This is Ontario again, Ranger RD7, which has been heavily modified with a patina, and I have two sheaths for that. This leather one is one I made. This is a Ka-Bar heavy buoy, and this is a Kydex sheath that I made that I've wrapped with some spare paracord just to have on hand. This is a Kershaw Outcast D2. D2 is the steel that's using that. That's a tool steel. It's a lot of people would say that it's brittle. And it holds an edge really well, but sometimes people say it will chip out. I have not seen this at all with this blade. It's a thicker blade, and you can see that I've reground that. It's convexed, and I've used that very heavily, and I really like that knife. There's a sheath with some paracord wrapped around it. This is an RTAC 2, made by Ontario as well. I really like that knife. It's also been heavily used and convexed. It's hard to tell. That finish is really good on there. It's hard to tell that it's been heavily used, but I haven't knocked the finish off too much. Maybe a little bit right here on the edge of the blade, and that's hard to see in here because the light's not real good, but it is. And I've got some glow-in-the-dark paint that I've added to this sheath. And you can see that there, it's just kind of rubbed into the nylon. It's not really painted on top of it so much as just rubbed into it. Gerber machete. It's the smaller one with the saw back. Saw is okay, not great, but I have reground it and it works much better now. It's also been convexed, and the only weak point in this knife to me is the fact that it's not full tang. You can see that it's kind of bolted on there to the handle, and that does work itself loose over time. And yet another Ontario. This is their Ontario machetes. This is the 12-inch, I believe, version. And you can see that I've got some glow-in-the-dark paint in the handle. And this is the sheath I made for it. It's Kydex as well, and a sling that I made for it. And it's got glow-in-the-dark paint on that as well, and that works really well when I've got it out at our campsite, and you can see that that's been used pretty well. But that helps me see it at night. If I leave that out in the sun during the day while I'm doing camp chores or whatever, it's easy to find that at night. And last but not least is the Ontario machete, the largest one. I forget what the exact size is. It's like 22, 24 inches, something like that. It's very large, and it has been used heavily. And to be honest, I pulled it out of my pickup truck. It stays in my truck all the time, and it smelled like campfire when I pulled it out, and that's always a welcome smell. And this is a Kydex sheath that I made for that, which the largest Kydex that I was able to find was 2 foot by 2 foot sheets, and I just used two pieces of that to make this long enough. And those are my little hatchets. I guess I'll walk over here and show you those. They're absolutely nothing special. In fact, I would say that they're very cheap. I'd love to get a nice Wetterlings or Grand First Brooks hatchet, but gosh, for whatever reason, I find it hard to spend money on a hatchet because of the nature of a hatchet. You keep it sharp, and even if it's not the highest quality, it will do the job. I'm not crazy about the handles on them, especially this one, but I think this handle, it's a wooden handle, but you can see that the grain's not particularly great. It doesn't run great in there, but obviously that's not something they're concerned with when they're putting these together for less than $10 or so. And I think I got that at Harbor Freight, and I'm almost embarrassed to say that I've got something, you know, that cheap next to all these really nice knives. But I did fix a sheath for that, and it's black, so it's kind of hard to see. I made that sheath, and this little thing on the back side is basically a belt loop with 2 snaps on it, and it just the hatchet just slides into that, just like so, and that back flap snaps onto your belt. This was a Craftsman hatchet. I like the fact that it was a wooden handle, and I like the fact that it actually did not come with a sheath at all, so I just really rough riveted some leather together and made a sheath for that. And then this was just a hatchet from Lowe's that really needs no explanation at all. But all of these are extremely sharp. I keep all my knives and all my hatchets extremely sharp. So there you go. If you guys have any questions about these, just send me a comment or a message, and I'll go into specifics on any particular knife you ask for. Thanks.